Why did they say that after a disaster? We've all seen it. A tragic event unfolds, a wildfire, a school shooting, a flood, a devastating hurricane, and within hours, sometimes minutes, people begin posting cruel, heartless, or tone-deaf takes online. Well, that's what happens when you build on a floodplain. Maybe they should have left when they had the chance. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. The question is, why? Why do people say such insensitive, even stupid things in moments when others are suffering? The answer isn't just about the moment. It's about what it reveals, about psychology, about empathy, and about who people are when no one is watching. The peak behind the cruelty. Let's be clear. Most people don't respond to tragedy with cruelty. But the ones who do, especially online, are often operating under one or more of the following psychological forces. 1. Cognitive dissonance, control through blame. Disasters are unsettling because they remind us that we are vulnerable to nature, to violence, to randomness. To soothe that discomfort, some people reach for simplistic explanations like, they should have known better. This kind of reasoning creates a false sense of control. If others made bad choices, then we can believe we're safe because we won't make the same ones. Blaming the victim feels protective, even if it's cruel. At its core, this isn't about malice. It's about fear, and an attempt to shield oneself from it by pointing fingers. 2. The just world fallacy, the dangerous comfort of deserved outcomes. The just world fallacy is the belief that the world is inherently fair, that good things happen to good people, and bad things to bad people. So when something horrific happens, people subconsciously try to preserve that worldview by rationalizing, they got what was coming. It sounds monstrous, but it's emotionally convenient. It allows the person to maintain the illusion of a fair world, and sidestep the terrifying idea that bad things can happen to anyone, for no apparent reason. 3. Tribalism and virtue signaling, when tragedy becomes a political weapon. In politically polarized environments, tragedies often become battlegrounds for rhetorical battles. For example, after a mass shooting, you might hear, "This is what happens in red states." Rather than mourning the victims or supporting the survivors, some people use the moment to score points, push ideology, or signal group allegiance. It's not empathy. It's performance. And what does it say about the person doing it? That they value winning a narrative over honoring real suffering. 4. The online disinhibition effect, cruelty behind screens. Many of these comments wouldn't happen face to face. But online, anonymity, distance, and the lack of social consequence make it easier to say things that are crass, simplistic, cruel and detached. This phenomenon is known as the online disinhibition effect, where individuals feel emboldened to be their worst selves because they're not held accountable in the moment. The disaster becomes abstract, and so does the human cost. 5. Dark humor and deflection, coping gone cold. Some people use dark humor as a coping mechanism for discomfort. They might joke about loss, violence, or suffering in ways that feel jarring. Their intent might not be cruelty. But the effect still hurts, especially when victims are reading. What it says about them is that they may not know how to handle emotional complexity, they may lack emotional maturity or awareness, or even that they may be using shock to mask sadness or fear. It's deflection, not connection. What can you do when you see it? You will see these takes. You'll hear the bad jokes. The blame. The smug detachment. Here's how to handle it. 1. Don't match cruelty with cruelty. Attacking someone for their heartless comment rarely helps. If anything, it often entrenches their view. 2. Name the harm, not the person. Try. I know you might not mean harm, but this is a painful time for a lot of people. Comments like that can be hard to read. 3. Model empathy. Be the example of what they could have said, thinking of everyone affected and how we can help. Empathy often speaks louder than outrage. So what does it say about them? When someone says something cruel after a disaster, it tells you a lot about them, their capacity for empathy, their emotional coping strategies, or lack thereof, how they react to fear, helplessness, and uncertainty, or whether they prioritize ideology or humanity. Disasters don't just break things. They reveal character. We all want the world to make sense. We want to feel safe. But when tragedy strikes, our response reveals more about us than the event itself. Some people lash out. Some people turn inward. Some people blame. And some people reach out. You get to decide which one you'll be. Empathy isn't always comfortable, but it is always right. You can find notes for this episode and more content like this at nigerdesau.substack.com.